Hey, what's up Guardians, DBL here, and it is Friday once again, which of course means your Agents of the Nine is here to pay us a visit. And as usual, we will be covering the inventory of weapons and armor that he has on sale this week. But alright, without further ado, let's do it. You'll find Xur this week hanging out in Tower North, in the area directly opposite of the speaker. And now that we've made our way over here, let's take a look at what the Agent of the Nine has brought for us this week. Now, as you'll see from first glance here, this week is a mixture of old and new, but that's definitely not a bad thing. And we will of course be very quickly covering it, starting with the weapons and armor that Xur has for sale. In terms of Titans, this week Xur is selling the MK44 stand-asides, which are a pair of exotic boots. These things come in a pure strength build and increase the overall duration of your shoulder charge. Not too bad. Personally speaking, this is actually the one piece of exotic Titan gear that I had yet to get my hands on, so I'm definitely going to be picking that up a little bit later. Anyways, the strength build on them is fairly decent, so if you're looking for a new pair of Titan boots, this might be exactly what you ordered. Next up, we've got the Mask of the Third Man, an exotic hunter helm piece. This helm replenishes your health whenever you pick up an orb of light and reduces the amount of super energy you use during Arc Blade. Overall, it's really good for Crota's end, since anything that can heal you in that raid is worth it, which brings us over to the Warlock piece, the Apotheosis Veil. This exotic Warlock helm also provides the replenish health on orb pickup ability as well as replenishing your health whenever you activate a super. Both of these helmet pieces feel like they were tailor-made for Crota's end, and if you haven't gotten your hands on them yet, I would greatly recommend that you do now. But alright, now moving on to this week's weapon, Xur has quite the surprise for the faithful Guardian. Xur is finally selling the Hardlight Exotic Auto Rifle. This is the first time he has ever sold this weapon. So get hyped Guardian, we're making history. The Hardlight remains, in my opinion, as one of the coolest looking and coolest sounding weapons in the game. Seriously, the aesthetics of it are just out of this world. Unfortunately, it's not as great in performance as it is in presentation. And what I mean by that is, damage-wise, the gun kind of sucks. It's a really low impact, really high rate of fire auto rifle. And we all know how Bungie treats those. Anyways, in the first tree, you can see it has accurized ballistics, followed by CQB for better stability, and then aggressive ballistics, which grants a small increase to impact and stability. But that's it. Some pretty interesting muzzle choices there. But next up, this weapon gets glass half full, where the bottom half of each magazine deals additional damage. This is always a great ability on any auto rifle that you can get it on. Next up in the middle tree, we've got Quick Draw for faster ADS time, Fitted Stock for increased stability, and finally, Field Scout, which increases this weapon's overall mag size. Personally, I'm probably going to bounce between Fitted Stock and Field Scout. Finally, we have the Hardlight's signature ability, Volatile Light, where every round fired from this weapon overpenetrates targets and ricochets on hard surfaces, meaning bullets will pass through enemies and then bounce on walls and possibly hit the same enemy again. Again, a really awesome ability in theory, but in practice, with the minuscule amount of damage that this weapon puts out next to even other auto rifles like Suros Regime, it's just not that impressive. It does look really cool though, and maybe if auto rifles ever get a damage buff in the future, this thing will be a real contender. But as it stands, it just doesn't compete with the top tier guns right now. Anyways, moving on, Xur is of course selling exotic shards this week, one for 7 strange coins, and finally, an exotic helmet engram, which can of course be redeemed at the Cryptarch for a chance at any exotic helmet piece in the game. I wish you all luck on that if you decide to take that route. Anyways, let's move on to the weapon and armor upgrades for this week. This week, Xur is offering a lot of familiar pieces, so we're going to burn through it pretty quickly. For hunters, Xur is offering upgrades for the Mask of the Third Man and the Lucky Raspberry. The Lucky Raspberry in particular has a really good stat roll on it, so if you still need to upgrade, now might be a good time. Next up, for Titans, Xur is offering upgrades for an Insurmountable Skullfort and the Crest of Alpha Lupi. The Crest of Alpha Lupi in particular has a stat roll of 162 intellect, so it's really good, and again, you might want to go ahead and roll for that. But moving on into Warlock land here, Xur is offering upgrades for the Skull of Dire Amkara and the Heart of the Praxic Fire, an exotic helmet and chest piece respectively. But alright, that's pretty much it for armor. Let's move on to weapons. This week, first on the line is the exotic auto rifle Hardlight, which of course Xur is actually selling this week, meaning of course that you can either buy a new one or upgrade the old one. Next up, Xur is offering upgrades for the exotic pulse rifle, the Red Death, which of course Xur was selling last Friday. That is followed up by the exotic bounty shotgun, the Invective, which the bounty is super easy, you can just do that. And that is followed up by the exotic sniper rifle, Patience and Time. Decent stuff thus far. In terms of heavy weapons, Xur is offering upgrades for the Horn exotic rocket launcher as well as the Truth, essentially the best PvE rocket launcher and the best PvP rocket launcher in the game. If you still manage to have a 300 attack Horn, get down to upgrading it, you need that thing. Finally, Xur is offering upgrades for the PlayStation exclusive Hawkmoon, the exotic hand cannon that always manages to elude my grasp. Maybe someday. But alright, moving on to the strange curios that Xur has on sale this week. In terms of weapon telemetries, which will boost the amount of EXP you get for a specified weapon type, Xur is offering pulse rifle telemetries, scout rifle telemetries, and finally, machine gun telemetries, which you can buy in a pack of 5 for 1 strange coin. For all you new Happy Red Death owners, you might want to think about picking up a pulse rifle telemetry, just to speed that thing along a little bit. But alright, next up we have the Sparrow upgrade drives, and this week Xur is offering the Plasma Drive and the Emerald Coil, both of which will upgrade your blue rare level Sparrow into a legendary. And finally, Xur is offering heavy ammo synths once again, 5 for 1 strange coin. As always, this is a fantastic deal and you should take advantage of it whenever you can. Alright, now that's pretty much it for Xur's inventory this week, guys. Now like I said before, there's a little bit of old and a little bit of new in there. I'm definitely psyched about him selling Hardlight, even though it's not, a super fantastic weapon. For the collector and me, I've really wanted to get that for a while, and man, the weapon just looks so cool, and when you fire, like, all the shots are blue, and it makes some really cool sound effects, and that's enough to appease me. But performance-wise, it just doesn't stack up to a weapon like Suros Regime, and especially after the recent auto rifle nerf. That definitely didn't do it any favors. But don't let that put you off. I would absolutely recommend this if you're looking to collect exotics. Plus, we all know auto rifles are gonna get buffed someday soon, so sit tight and wait for that. Anyway, that about wraps up this video, guys. If you like what you saw here, do feel free to check out my channel where you can find a ton more Destiny videos coming out soon. And make sure to let me know in the comment section below if Xur had anything you wanted or needed in his inventory this week. I know some of you Guardians out there are at least as hyped as I am for Hardlight. Anyways, that's it for me now. As always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.